Welcome again, my friends, to a new section. So we worked on authentication in the backend. Now it is time to work on it on the front end. I don't want to keep you bored just on the backend. Let's come back to the front end and do some nice work. It is going to be very exciting, okay? So our objective is going to be consisting of creating a register and login page. And we're going to use Tailwind CSS to style everything out. And then we need to create some forms. And we're going to create strong validated forms using React-hook-form and validate the data using Yup. So a very nice, they complete each other. It's a very nice combination. React-hook-form is the best for me to handle and manage forms. And then Yup to validate. As we're using plain JavaScript, I'd rather use Yup. But if we're using TypeScript, I would have used Zod. That's another thing. Maybe for my other courses, I already done something like that. And then we will dispatch some asynchronous thank requests and handling status and error. So say goodbye to the boring way of you sending requests to the backend using normal Axios. Now we're still going to use Axios, but it's going to be inside an asynchronous thank, which help do something really amazing. Like imagine you send a request, you do everything, and magically you also update your data in the store. Rather that be your user or like conversation or whatever, without even having to keep doing that. And it seems like when you do it normally just by getting the data sitting in a state, then dispatch an action to that, it's a boring way, and it's not the most amazing way to do that. That's the reason I'm using asynchronous thank right here, and you would love it, believe me. And then the last thing would be to upload some images to Cloudinary, and if I forgot something, we will talk about it. So yeah, let's start working. It is very simple. First of all is to create the register and login page and style them a little bit with Tailwind CSS. So if you go back to my pages, I have this register page. It's a boring empty tab right here. So let me go back to my browser and try to access the register like this. Okay, let me close this. So now I'm in the register page. So let me start. So as I told you, you're starting from the dark mode. Sorry, not here. I gotta get used to come here. So let me remove this register, and I'm gonna add a class name here. So let's start. The first thing is I'm gonna make the height is the height of screen, which is 100 viewport heights of CSS. So like if you hover on it, you would say, I don't know if you can see it. Okay, you actually can. It shows you like what is the actual CSS for it. So working with Tailwind CSS, you're not going to be confused because you can always hover on a property and see what it actually does. The second thing, I want to change the background. As I told you, we're working in the dark mode. So as we are in dark mode, I want the background to be my dark and then BG1. Okay, let me just make sure the name of the variable is true. So if I went back to my Tailwind config, this is the background I'm using. Okay, so dark BG1. So in the dark mode, the background that I'm going to use is dark BG1, and you can see the color of it there. So if I went back, this is what I'm going to have. As I am now in the dark mode. But if I went back, I'm just saying this for the last time. If I remove this dark class name in the app, it's going to go away because that's only when I'm in the dark mode. Okay, so we started from dark mode, but it is totally fine. So now I'm going to have flex. So just to make display flex, and then I'm going to make items center, just to make it's like the same as align item center, and then justify center. To make everything simply, the flex and item center and justify center takes everything inside it and make it exactly in the center. And then I'm gonna have some sort of padding from the y-axis. That means from the top and bottom, and I want it to be a custom value right here, which for me gonna be 19 pixels. And then I will make overflow hidden. So anything outside of that, we don't show. You see, this is very simple. I'm going to have then a container right here. And inside this container, I'm going to have another div here. So this div is going to also have a class name, which is going to be display flex. And then the width of this one, let's make it 1600 pixels. Okay, for now. And then MX auto to make everything in the center. That just like going margin, and then in the x-axis, you make it auto. And then also the height for it to be 4. Okay, the height 100%. And then inside of here, we will have our own custom register form. So this is like the same. If I took this right here and I went actually back to my login page also, I can actually do the same here. And this is simply what I'm doing. So now go back. This is my register for now. And this also for login, here is the same. So this is a good way to keep going on both things, which gonna make things faster for us. So now if I went back to my register, here I'm gonna have the form. So here I'm gonna have, it's good to always comment things. So this is the register form. So this form that we have right here, we want to create a component for it. So what I can actually do, I can go back. So this is my source. I'm gonna create a new folder that is called components. I hope I'm doing this right. And I'm gonna create a new folder. This folder is called auth, for example. This is for our authentication stuff. And inside of it, I'm gonna create a register form .gsx. And then also I can create a login form .gsx. Okay. And inside my register form, I can go RFC and simply remove this import. We don't need that. And I'm in the register form. And the same, I can do that, RFC. And then the same is login form. Okay, nothing happened here. And now I go back to my register form and call it here. So register form this way. So now I have my register form, which is this one. So now I will see a text there that it says register form. For the login also, I can do the same thing. I can go back to my login page and actually import that. So right here, login page. So sorry, login form here, you could say. And then inside of this one is going to be login. All right. So where is my login form? I made a mistake. So this is login form. I can take the name and try to import that. Okay, I can actually get that finally. And this is it. So now in my login and my register, I have the forms. So now let's focus on one exactly. So now let's work on the register form itself. So one thing I want to tell you about is these units in Tailwind CSS. For example, one. So you could go like for item and you may say class name and then like some sort of padding, and you would say the value of it is 1. So this is a unit in Tailwind CSS. If you want to actually know what is the actual value, it's 1 is translates to 4 pixels and also translates to 0.25 rem. Okay, so that means if we had a unit of 4, that means it is 4 by 4 pixels, which is 16. Okay, and then it is also 0.25 multiplied by 4, which give us 1. Okay, this is just simply to explain something to you. So if I went, for example, for this one and I made the padding 4, it's now is going to be what? It's going to be 4 multiplied by 4, which is 16. So this is the way you look at it. So yeah, so I'm just showing you how to work with this. And yeah, if it's like, for example, it is 10, so padding 10 is going to be 40 pixels. So yeah, and you can actually just hover on it, right? It's going to tell you that the padding now is 40 pixels or 2.5 rem. And if it's actually 4, it's going to be 16 pixels and 1 rem. So yeah, it is a good way to actually always hover on things to show you the property and what it exactly is. So yeah, I'm just adding this as something to understand. So the height is going to be default height of the screen, then width 4, and then we're going to make everything in the middle. So we're going to go flex and then items center, and then justify also center. And then we'll have the overflow hidden. So it's similar to what we had. Let me remove this from here. We're going to have now an inside container, and actually have container here. And this div is going to also have the width 4. Okay. But we're going to add a property, I feel, for the max width. We're going to make it medium. Okay. And it's taking the full width of that medium. So this is going to be, let me show you the right one, which is going to be 448 pixels. That is the width, how it's going to be. So that is the maximum width. So I don't even think this width 4 is going to do anything. Okay, but yeah, I don't think it's necessary. Yeah, so let's just go right in. So we're going to have some sort of spacing in the y-axis of 8. And what is spacing? Let's say you have some sort of, let's say right here, you have a div, and then under that, you had another div. So between these divs right here, between them, like going right, I don't know if you can do this space between these two is going to be, because this is y-axis, it's going to be 8, which exactly 8 multiplied by 4, and it's going to give you a certain value. You can calculate and keep doing the same thing. So that means anything that I have here is going to be spaced on the y-axis. I know this is only in the beginning, I'm going to explain this stuff, but Rather than that, you gotta go yourself and learn about it. So the padding right here is gonna be 10 right here. After that, we will have a background, as we are working only in the dark mode. So you're gonna go dark, and then this background is gonna be dark PG2. Okay, and then after that, we're just gonna have rounded XL. Okay, just to have some sharp, not sharp, but just rounded edges. It's the border radius, which is 12 pixels for the X large right here. So here we're just gonna have some information about hidden for the form. So I can go hidden right here, and I'm gonna explain why. So the first div that they're gonna have is just gonna have text center, which puts all the text in the center. And then also it has the text. So the text that we're gonna have is gonna be dark, and I think text 1, yeah, primary, like this. And this text that we are using right here also gonna be only in the dark mode. All right, and then we have to go inside of this div, and here we're just gonna have an h2, and this h2 is gonna have the margin top to be 6, and then also it's gonna have text to be 3XL, and then also it's gonna have font bold. Okay, so font bold. And then also, yeah, that's it. And inside of this one, we're going to say something like welcome. And under that, it's going to be paragraph, and it's going to have a class name here. And this paragraph is going to have margin top 2, and also it's going to have text small. And here it says sign up. All right. So this is like the first thing we had to do. Let me go back and see. Yeah, this is what we're having. Let me zoom out. This is what we have right now. Okay. So it is a good start for the dark mode also. So after this hidden, then we will have something. Okay, let me just make sure that I'm doing everything right here. And this div, right, actually we don't need to do anything right here. I feel like we simply can have just some sort of line. I feel like that's something. And yeah, so let me just have the form here. I don't want to do that. So I feel like just the form here is going to be enough. And simply the form right here is going to be just a normal form that you would actually have. And this form is going to have a class name. Okay, so this class name for this form is going to have margin top 6, and then also space Y6. All right. And this inform is going to have some inputs, you know, etc. But I'm not going to do that right now. So this is like just the basic setup for this page, or actually this register form. I'm going to take this and I'm going to apply it also to the login form. So I'm going to go and add it here. And this one is going to be sign in. And let me go back and see. So this has sign up. And then for this login, okay, we could say something like welcome back maybe. It's better. So for the login, I can say something like welcome back. All right, because you're going to log in here. And this form, the reason I'm not going to continue here, because this form needs its own video, because we're going to add React-hook-form and also all the sorts of validation. That's why I just going to leave this form right here to the next video. So see you then.